I'm back with another video. Today I want to talk about my top 10 Nintendo 64 games. The Nintendo 64 was the first video game console I owned and played. I got it at about 3 or 4 years old in 1999 or 2000, so I feel lucky that I was able to own an N64 from such a young age. So many great childhood memories of N64, and I've continued to play Nintendo 64 my entire life. And the Nintendo 64, if it is one of the most important gaming systems to me, if not the most important. So let's get started. I want to start with two honorable mentions. The first honorable mention is Snowboard Kids 1. So I grew up playing Snowboard Kids 2, but I recently did a full playthrough of this game and beat it in full. And I gotta say, I think that the course design and the music in Snowboard Kids 1 is better than Snowboard Kids 2. Great in Snowboard Kids 2, but I think that the course design is even stronger in this one. A really fun racing game. Really, really challenging, but as you know, if you've seen my other videos, I enjoy that in games. So this doesn't make the top 10, but it barely doesn't, and my opinion could change. So this is definitely an honorable mention. This game, you may not be able to recognize it, but this game is Mario Party 2. And this is one of my favorite Mario parties. And in this video, I'm actually only doing a top 10 of the Nintendo 64 games that I own. I actually do like Mario Party 3 more, but sadly, I lost my copy of Mario Party 3 over 5 years ago. So if I had Mario Party 3, that would be in the spot, if not higher. But this is an honorable mention. But Mario Party 2 is an amazing Mario Party game. I think it's my second favorite Mario Party game behind Mario Party 3. So out of the games, N64 games I own, this definitely gets an honorable mention. Rank number 10 is Mickey's Speedway USA. This is a fantastic racer by Rareware. Very underrated. I learned recently that it actually uses the Diddy Kong Racing engine, and it's just a great racing game. I think that it doesn't get the attention that other racing games in the system like Mario Kart 64 and Diddy Kong Racing get, but this is really phenomenal. Really good track design that visits all different parts of the United States. The different racers kind of have more intricate stats than in other N64 racers. Like you got a wider variety of stats between the characters. Awesome music. This is a childhood classic of mine. More people should know about this game and play it. I think some people don't even know it exists, but it's really deserving of a top 10 spot for me. Number 9 is Banjo-Kazooie. I owned this game as a kid and played it as a kid. I never really got too far. And then about 2 or 3 years ago, I finally sat down and did a full playthrough of it. I actually ended up 100%ing the game. The final boss on this game is extremely challenging, and after failing at that final boss for like hours, I decided to 100% the game, get the double health you get once you do that. So that made the final boss easier, and I finally beat it. But really, an amazing growth on, say, Super Mario 64. This game is probably the next great 3D platformer after Super Mario 64. This is just a 10 out of 10 game. The gameplay is addicting and fun. The music's fun. The graphics are really good for the time period. This is a must-play game for the Nintendo 64. And I'm really happy I finally sat down and played through the whole thing a few years ago. Next is, look at it, Snowboard Kids 2. So this is one of the earliest video games I played. I think possibly the only video games I ever played before this were Super Mario 64 and Mario Kart 64. But this is just a classic game of my childhood. You basically play as a bunch of kids with big noses who want to snowboard. There's actually cutscenes in this game, advancing the plot, which the first game doesn't have. It's just a much deeper version of the first game. I do think that the first game has slightly better level design and music, but only barely. This level design in this game's amazing. The music's amazing. The graphics are amazing. Like, you go to a stage like Turtle Island, and look how beautiful that looks. Even for a 1998, 1999 N64 game. It's really one of the most fun racing games on the Nintendo 64. It's a hard game to find nowadays, but I totally recommend this. One of my favorite games from my childhood. It's another challenging game. I think Snowboard Kids 1 is also more challenging than 2, which to me can be a good thing, but what a wonderful game. If you can't get this on N64, I know it goes for like 70 or 75 bucks at minimum now. Play it on an emulator. It's amazing. Here we got Paper Mario. This is one of maybe the first RPG that I ever beat. This is a fantastic RPG for the Nintendo 64. The Nintendo 64 only has like 2 good RPGs on it. I've never played Quest 64, but I heard that that's a pretty solid RPG. But this has to be the best RPG on the Nintendo 64. Really cool storybook, picture book graphics, a really fun story, a really good imaginative take on the Mario universe. Just so much charm in this game. This game is very high quality. Like, there's really no complaints I have it. The Thousand Year Door improved it on a bunch of ways, but it's just a great RPG. The characters all have so much personality, like Bowser and Princess Peach and Twink the Little Star, the Who's Your Ally, and it's just a great game. I think that one thing that this game has over Thousand Year Door is the Peach content. Between chapters, you get to control Princess Peach in this game, and the Peach content is so much better in Paper Mario 64 than the Thousand Year Door. But overall, a great RPG, a great beginner RPG. Pretty much the first RPG I ever played, and my opinion and love of RPGs has grown since then. Now I like more standard turn-based RPGs that are a bit more typical than Paper Mario. But anyway, this is an amazing game. I need to replay this sometime soon. I haven't played it in years. And here we got Diddy Kong Racing. So this game is extremely difficult, and I played it as a kid on the N64. I played it for the DS later on in my childhood, and it was just, I couldn't beat it. It was just so hard. It wasn't until last summer, summer 2024, that I finally sat down on Discord with a friend who had speedrun this game and played through it totally. I beat it. There are some extremely hard balloons to get in this game, extremely hard races you have to win. Some of the boss fights are so hard. It's like the octopus boss fight, the boss race. You kind of need to know how to snake your hovercraft in order to beat that. I had no idea how to do that. I had to learn that on the fly. But anyway, this is a great racing game, and maybe arguably the best racing game on the N64. I do have one racing game ranked above it on this list, but I would still, maybe this is arguably better, but it is lower on my list. But yeah, great racing game with a great adventure mode, great music. It's really it's like a perfect racing game, and honestly, the perfect Nintendo 64 racing game. And I struggled to beat it for so many years, and it was a great feeling to finally do it this past summer. And here we got The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. This is a phenomenal game that I actually have only beaten one time. I beat it about 10 years ago. It was almost exactly 10 years ago, which was the first time that I beat it, and the only time that I beat it. But this is just one of the best games of all time. It's been so long since I played it, so maybe if I played it now, I would rank it even higher on the list. But I do remember it as being one of the greatest game experiences I've ever had. Totally revolutionized 3D gaming, much like Super Mario 64 did. But this game still has an extremely huge impact on the gaming industry, and there's a reason many have said it's the greatest video game of all time. So highly recommend this game. And let's see how many I've left. This is number 5. I haven't really been saying for all these games number 7, number 8, number 9, but this is ranked number 5 for me. And then ranked number 4, we got The Legend of Zelda: Majora's Mask. Maybe if I played Ocarina of Time in the near future, maybe I would put Ocarina of Time over Majora's Mask, but how I'm feeling right now, I'm putting Majora's Mask over Ocarina of Time. I played this one relatively recently. I actually had a playthrough of it that lasted almost 2 years. from like 2021 to 2023. But it's a great game, very different than Ocarina of Time. It obviously uses the Ocarina of Time engine, but the side quests and the story are better in this game, I think. And it's just kind of a dark story. But what really makes this game so much fun is the collecting you get to do with the side quests, collecting all the masks. The dungeons, while there are only like 4 of them, they're all really good. But this game just has the vibe of this game and the excellent side quests and the excellent 100% experience in this game, I think gives it the nod over Ocarina of Time for me at this very moment. So that's number 4. Super Smash Brothers. This is a game I poured many hours into as a kid. It was a huge game for me. I would play the solo mode over and over and over again from a very young age. And then when I got to be a bit older, about 8-9 years ago, I started playing this with some of my friends when they would come over to my house, and we had a lot of fun playing this game, a group of us. And I liked it because I was the only one who really played this game as a kid. But then like 3 of my friends would come over, and they got into it too. They eventually got into this game even though they had played it as a kid, and we would play it all the time. So this is the Smash game that started it all. I think that Melee is an even better game, and it definitely improved on this. But even now to this day, I sometimes want to go watch some Super Smash Bros. 64 combo videos on YouTube. I watched some tournament gameplay, and this is just a really great Smash game that birthed it all. It's kind of an underrated one now, considering how popular Melee and Ultimate have become. This is an underrated Smash game, a really interesting combo system. In this game, there's a lot of hits done with everything you do, so that sort of that makes the combos ridiculous in this game. But I think this is an underrated Smash game. I think it's almost as good as Melee, and I think it's the second best Smash game ever. Number 2 on my list, Mario Kart 64. So while I admit maybe that objectively Diddy Kong Racing is better, this still holds the number 2 spot for Nintendo 64 games for me. This was the second video game I ever played, I believe, after Super Mario 64. And this game just means so much to me. Playing with family, I poured hours into this from a very young age of 4 years old or 3 years old or whenever it was. And it's just a game I poured hours and hours and hours into. I never got sick of it. This was probably the game I played most frequently as a kid. In my whole childhood, this is probably the video game that I played most frequently. And it's just a gem of a game. The track design is great. It's a wonderful. It's like it's one of the first 3D kart racers. It totally influenced everything. Everybody copied this game. Crash Nitro Kart, any of those kart racing games for other systems that came about it's a direct result of Mario Kart 64. So the one thing I'll say is that Super Mario Kart is definitely more challenging this game. It's pretty easy to get gold in each of the cups in 150cc in this game, but it's still a wonderful game. It has actually a high skill ceiling. Like if you're a speedrunner of this game or you do time trials, there is a very high skill ceiling. There's a really good engine in this game for kart racing that can be optimized, and when you do that, it's really satisfying. And my number 1 game for Nintendo 64, Super Mario 64. This is the Japanese version of the game. I do also own the US NTSC version of this game. But wow, this is probably the most important game of my life. So if you have been on my channel for a while, you'll know that I am a seasoned Super Mario 64 speedrunner. I started speedrunning Super Mario 64 back in 2012, and as of now, I feel like I'm kind of permanently burnt out on Super Mario 64 due to 3,000 plus hours of speedrunning this game in my life. But so I think in recent years I've been very burnt out on this game. I haven't really wanted to play it, but I still will say that before I speedrun this game, this was easily my favorite game of all time. And even after the hours of speedrunning it that have burnt me out, I still will say that this is the most important video game in my life. Just the childhood memories of playing this game are unbelievable. Playing this game casually is unbelievable. I wish I was able to play it casually again, but I'll never be able to. But it's just one of my highlights of my childhood. Was the first time I got 120 stars back in the summer of 2008. I finally did it. But yeah, this game is kind of what really truly made me a gamer. I believe it's the first video game I ever played, and it just means so much to me. So there's my top 10 list of N64 games with a couple honorable mentions. Let me know in the description if you like my top 10, or I guess there are 12 games I talked about here. If you like my collection I just presented, let me know what your top 10 games are. Let me know if you agree or disagree with my takes. All right, have a great day.